This story is about distractions, and distractions are not your friend. It doesn't matter what your job is. If you're distracted at your job, you're not doing your job correctly. You can't do this job and be distracted. My name is Wayne Mason, and I'm a member of the Local 21 in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. I worked for 41 years, and I retired last year. Got the job in January of 1980. Didn't even know anything about elevators. Didn't even know that elevators were a thing. I couldn't believe that I had actually gotten to something like this. I just thought that this was the kind of job that might just play out in a couple of years because I didn't know anything about it. But it's been just a tremendous career. Getting into this job was just something. It was just amazing. The safety policies in 1980 were just about non-existent. Now, everything is a focus of safety, as it should be. Had we had the safety features then that they have now, there would have been a whole lot less of a fatality rate in the elevator business from those years. So no one should ever discount safety at all, because safety should be in everybody's mind and every step of the way, no matter what you're doing. And it doesn't matter how stupid you think the safety procedure is. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many times you've done this particular task. You've got to think to yourself, what is the worst possible thing that can happen? And you got to plan for that or expect it. And then I've heard young guys, of course, before I retire, I don't know why we have to do this. I said, man, there's a reason for it. Somebody's been hurt doing exactly what you're doing right now. And then somebody realized we need a procedure to address that. So I could never say enough about safety, and especially to young guys. It happens to you too, it can. So, in March of 1983, I fell 3 floors down an elevator hatch. It was dumb. I was distracted. I was newly married, and we were signing for our house that day. And I wanted to be home. And truth be told, I should have stayed home. I shouldn't even came to work that day, but I did, right? Toward the end of the day, our superintendent came on the job and said, hey man, I need you guys to go down the street, just do some work. And it was a hydraulic job down there, and we were working on a traction job. And he said, I just need you to get the jack out of the hole because it's in there wrong. So we get to the job, and literally like just 5 minutes away, right? It was very close. We go in, and my mechanic and I are in there, and we realized right from the start, we didn't bring enough stuff. We didn't bring enough material to do what we need to do. And he drove us over there, so he drives back. He goes to get it. He says, Wayne, he said, I want you to clean up the area some, but don't do anything while I'm gone. He said, that hoistway is exposed, meaning there was no barricades around it, which in today's market, you wouldn't be caught anywhere near a job like that, right? So I said, okay, yeah, sure, right? I said, so we're gonna finish this up so I can get home to sign the papers for my new house. Oh yeah, man, don't worry about it. Okay, so he leaves, and I clean up. Takes, it's a couple of minutes. It wasn't really it wasn't a junky job. It just, he just wanted me to stay busy. He didn't want me to do anything. He didn't want me to get hurt. But I get it in my mind that, well, I can speed this process up. And really, this is a story about being distracted, because I was not thinking clearly on that at all. That huge distraction, signing for my house, right? I decide that I'm gonna get a ladder, and I'm gonna climb with my ladder to the top of the hoistway, and I was gonna get ready for when we're ready to hoist that jack out of there. I got to the top of the hoistway. Now, I'm the only one on the job. There's nobody else there. All the other trades have gone for the day. There's nobody around it. It's a little small 2-landing hydro. And I feel like that I can get up there and I can get the rigging ready for when we bring the rest of it. As soon as I got to the top, very soon, as soon as I was there, my ladder shifted and I was down. And then I don't remember the fall. I don't remember the noise. I don't remember anything but laying there on my left side, looking at my feet. That's all I remember. I tried to get up, couldn't. Too much pain, right? But I could move my hands, I could move my legs, and I could move my feet. So I'm thinking that, okay, maybe my back's not broken, and maybe this is not gonna, who knows, right? The bottom of the pit, the elevator pit where I landed, that whole floor was a basement, and it was very dimly lit, and it was cold, and it was wet in the pit. And after a few minutes, I started hallucinating. And I mean, there was things crawling on me that weren't there. There was people talking to me. I mean, there was a lot of really crappy stuff. My mechanic, he had only been gone at the very most 30 minutes. All of this happened within just a few minutes of him leaving. When he came back, he sees the ladder in the hoistway, and he knows that dadgum ladder's not supposed to be in the hoistway, and he starts screaming for me. I wasn't sure that it was actually real that he was yelling for me. I wasn't sure about that. And so he finally got down to the bottom where I was, and man, we got to get an ambulance. Now, wasn't any 911 service. There was no pay phones, there was no truck, job site trailer. We didn't have cell phones, okay? So, and 911 wasn't even operational until 1987 in the state of Texas. So I don't know how the guy got help. I really don't. All I remember for sure is that once I was clear enough to realize it was him, man, you got to get me out of here. He said, man, I can't. I can't move you. I don't want to die in this pit. I do not want to die here in this pit. So you got to get me out. Now, he was a little guy. He was like 5'5", 125 pounds. I was 6'2" and 200. So I don't know how he did it. I really don't know how the guy got me out of the pit, but he did. And the ER doctor said, look, man, you're one lucky son of a gun because you got some bad stuff that could have happened. If you know anything about a hydraulic piston, they're round, right? So I landed on the top of that piston. And I didn't even realize that that's what I had landed on until the ER doctor. And he pointed out, this is where you landed. And so today, I have a permanent indentation in the top of my left pelvic bone from where I landed on that. And he said, had you landed 4 inches to the left, you'd have severed your spine and probably never walked again. So, this is a story about being distracted because I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about buying my house and signing the papers. I was distracted from my job. I didn't listen. I didn't do what my mechanic said. He told me to clean up and not do anything. I didn't listen. So there's a case for distraction, not paying attention, not following directions and being hard-headed. If you're distracted at your job, you're not doing your job correctly. But if you're an elevator man and you're distracted by, like in my case, signing papers on my new house, or today, your cell phone or your kid's soccer game, and you're distracted and you have that 1 second that it's yes or no or do or die type thing, the distractions are bad. It is bad. You can't do this job and be distracted. 4 inches worth of distraction could have meant me being dead or completely disabled for the rest of my life. I can't blame anybody because it was me. Every bit of it was me. And I made the choice to do something unsafe. And I paid dearly for it. When you're dealing with the machinery, the heights, the heavy equipment and stuff like that, and you're distracted, you're not fully focused on your job, and that's when bad things happen. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter because we want everybody that works in this business to be safe. It doesn't matter. Men and women, we want you to be safe. We want you to be welcome into the IUEC, but we want you to be safe. We want you to go home every night, and we want you to see your kids, and we want you to go to the kids' soccer game. We want you to go see your grandmother. This is a message to everybody that's trying to get in this business. There's no room for distractions. In this business, man or woman, it doesn't matter. You have to be focused on your job when you come to work here because your life depends on it.